Yo, welcome back to the channel, everybody. We got another game series ranking video with your boy Halon. I told you guys in other videos I was going to be doing ranking series based upon some of the most popular franchise video game series in the world that I have played. At the very least, either 6+ games, or if there's at least 6+ games in the series. Because, you know, it'd be really slow if we did like a three game series ranking video. Anyways, so this one, as in the description, is the Star Wars ranking series. So let's get into it. Pardon the interruption, guys. Just wanted to say thanks for coming by the channel today and checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're liking what you see so far. Also, be sure to hit that notification bell in the top right hand of your screen so you never miss a content video that I put out on my YouTube channel here. Also, be sure to comment and like, as it helps with the algorithm and pushing it out to more wonderful viewers like yourself. Be sure to follow me on all my other social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all Halon Official, where I post other stuff, previews of videos like this. You guys know what it is. I appreciate you again. Back to the video. At number 10, this might be a little controversial for some people. We're already starting off controversial on this list. Battlefront 2 of 2017, the newest one. The reason I put this game here is because initially, and a lot of this goes, I'm sorry, I should have said this at the beginning of the video, but a lot of this ranking with these games is going to be mainly based upon my initial reaction to the game and my last playthrough of the game, of its state and where it's at. So that's why I've got Battlefront 2 from 2017 at number 10. Because when the game first came out, I liked it and I enjoyed it. The microtransactions, obviously, the community wasn't a big fan of that. I wasn't either. But I went back and played the game. I played it a lot at the beginning. Took a break for a while, played some more, and then the last time I played it was a couple months ago, and there's a lot of different things in it now. A lot of things that make it very enjoyable. A lot of the different playlists, the Heroes Showdown, Heroes versus Villains, you know, the different galactic errors, being able to, you know, just, there's a lot they've added to the game, and it's made it a lot more enjoyable than what it was in the, at the very beginning and even in the middle. Still was good at the beginning, but it needed to be worked on, and there are a lot more things that need to be added, and they did that. So, at number 10, Battlefront 2 from 2017. Number 9, we have the first Force Unleashed game. Now, the reason I have the first Force Unleashed game at number 9 and not higher is simply because I felt like the character of Starkiller was a little bit of a copy and paste of Luke Skywalker, in a sense. Obviously a little bit more powerful, or at least I believe he was a little bit more powerful. But I just felt like it was kind of a copy and paste of Luke Skywalker. It was an interesting story. Oh, and just to this is not really much of a spoiler, but I don't have Force Unleashed 2 on this list at all. But I put the first one here because I felt like the story was better than the second one. I enjoyed it. Vader's Secret Apprentice, it was great. It was awesome. But just sometimes I felt like the lightsaber combat a little clunky. It was fluid for the period of time, but I just felt like it was a little clunky, and I just didn't enjoy it quite as much as I know some other people put it on a high raise. But not for me. At number 8, KOTOR 2, Knights of the Old Republic 2. This game, the sequel to the original Knights of the Old Republic, it was great. It was made by Obsidian, and I have such a love-hate relationship with Obsidian. Obsidian makes games that are very great and player-friendly. And the two big franchises like Fallout and Star Wars, where they've had a lot of hands-on with the games they've made for that. To me, they're not very good storytellers. I don't enjoy the stories they come up with. I'm not immersed. Well, I'm immersed into them, but I'm not really interested in them highly. Like, with Fallout New Vegas, the main storyline to that, it kind of bored me a little bit. Same with KOTOR. It felt like it was repetitive. Like, I didn't enjoy it very much, so. Player-friendly wise, customization options. They put an option in there where you could have backup weapons and you could switch weapons middle fight. That's great. That's awesome for gameplay wise. Gameplay, I mean, they followed strictly to the KOTOR, the original, and they didn't change anything about that, and that still made it great and wonderful. But just, I did not enjoy that story at all. At number 7, we've got the newest Jedi style fighting game that came out, Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order was a great game. The only real reason I have this game this far down is because I felt like the story was short. Now, at the start of the game, when you're learning how to play and trying to get through the missions, if you're playing on one of the harder difficulties, Jedi Knight, Jedi Master, Jedi Grandmaster. You know, the game can seem like it's long because you're taking forever to get through certain boss fights and whatnot. But overall, once you learn how to play the game and you go back through a playthrough of it, it's really, to me, the game is kind of short. Felt like the story was a little clunky, but they're dealing with the sensitive time period being in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, 5 years after Revenge of the Sith. It's a very tight window to be able to do and explore and have a lot of things going on. But I felt like they maybe could have done just a tiny bit more. But overall, still a great game. Did not enjoy Trilla as the main villain. Trilla was a great character, and I like Trilla's character a lot. But I felt like for what they were building Cal to be, I felt like Trilla was just way too powerful of a villain for Cal to be fighting at the beginning. The 9th sister, great. Or maybe you come up with a new Inquisitor and have the 11th sister, 11th brother, 12th sister, 12th brother, or something like that. Or maybe even the new Inquisitor that is in the Obi-Wan series, Reva, I believe her name is, or Reva, however you pronunciate it. Or maybe even the 4th sister come in. But Trilla right now, if you take the rankings, just to go deep dive, a little bit nerdy here, guys. Trilla is the 4th most powerful dark side force user in the entire galaxy right now. You've got Palpatine, you've got Vader, you've got the Grand Inquisitor, and then Trilla, because we don't have anybody that's in between Trilla and the Grand Inquisitor that we know of. So Trilla is the 4th most powerful dark side user in the entire galaxy, at least in the Republic side of the galaxy. The Empire, I should say, at this point in time. We've got a lone Jedi Knight, Padawan, barely any training, going up against the 4th most powerful dark. That just, to me, I know he gets stronger as the game goes on, but didn't feel like that was, it should have been a lesser villain, I feel like, so. But the gameplay-wise, mechanics in it, I was very Dark Souls-esque, great in that aspect of everything, so enjoyed the game, but had to put it at number 7 because of a short story and because of the antagonist. Number 6, we have Star Wars Dark Forces. Now, I don't know if most of you remember that. That was an OG game on the PlayStation 1. This was one of the first iterations of Kyle Katarn into the video game world, I believe. Or there might have been a 64 game, a Nintendo 64 game, I think, where maybe he came in. But this was one I vaguely remember playing him as the main protagonist of the game. Kyle Katarn is basically a Han Solo Jedi. He's basically what Han Solo would have been if Han Solo would have been a Jedi. He used to be an Imperial Enforcer, and then he switched to the Rebellion, eventually becomes a Jedi in a whole different series. But this whole series is about him being an agent for the Rebel Alliance and going behind enemy lines, essentially doing what probably the Cassian Andor series is going to do. This is what Kyle Katarn went through, going through the deep, dark depths of the Empire, dealing with a lot of the projects and things the Empire was working on behind the scenes. Overall, gameplay, I still like it. Obviously, completely just everything doesn't look as great as things do nowadays, but I believe the gameplay for what it is and what it was, it holds up to this day, or at least in a sense. It's a good story. Great story. Great game. Very lengthy, just like I like from a lot of the old games that I feel like a lot of these newer games are lacking. The campaigns back then were lengthy. Could have something to do with the amounts of worlds and data that these newer worlds consume and whatnot compared to things back then, but this campaign was very, very lengthy and took me a very long time to beat all the way through. So, at number 5, Jedi Outcast. This is the game, the first iteration of Kyle Katarn being a Jedi on in the video game series for Star Wars. This is where Kyle Katarn begins his journey as a Jedi. He's still an Imperial, or still a Rebel Alliance agent at the beginning of the game, but then eventually Luke Skywalker and him have an interaction, and Luke figures out that he's Force sensitive, convinces him to train as a Jedi, and you go through the motions of this game, kind of how I wanted Cal to go through the motions of relearning the Force and, building up his ability. Kyle Katarn goes through a lot of missions. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. I believe there's like 40 plus in this game, where he's building up his Force abilities. You have fights with Dark Jedi, and the tiers of Dark Jedi continue to grow as your character grows. There was a lot of room and length and time in this game for growth. Only the reason I put it at number 5 simply because the lightsaber mechanics were just a little clunky, not quite as fluid as, say, Fallen Order or even The Force Unleashed. I believe this is still, to this day, some of the most intense lightsaber fighting I think I've ever done in a Star Wars game, maybe besides Battlefront 2, because of what it is. But being just, that is essentially a Jedi-focused game, it was really good for its time, like very, very good. At number 4, Jedi Academy. Now, this is where you get to play as Jaden Core, whether it is a male or female. This is Kyle Katarn's one of 2, because in this In this part of the Legends history of Star Wars, Luke's Academy Jedi Masters take on more than one student at one time because there's so few of them. You play as one of Kyle Katarn's students named Jaden Core. And in this game, basically everything is still the same as Jedi Outcast. The campaign isn't quite as long as Jedi Outcast. I believe it's maybe shortened by like 5 or 10 missions or so. So there's at least still 30 missions in this game. It's all about building up your Force abilities. And the biggest reason I put it above Jedi Outcast, I felt like this story was just maybe a tiny bit more interesting. And the fact that you're at halfway point through the campaign, you're able to, you lose your lightsaber essentially. So you're able to build a new one, and you get the choice of having a single lightsaber, single hilt, a staff, like what Darth Maul carries, or you're able to carry 2, be dual wielded. And I think that's awesome. Once again, the lightsaber fighting, it didn't really change much because this game, I believe, came out 2 years after Jedi Outcast, or maybe a year after Jedi Outcast. You know, the lightsaber combat's still a little clunky and whatnot, but still some of the most intense lightsaber fights ever. Like, you're able to jump, flip around, like do the way you're able to jump and flip around and do different things and swing your lightsaber in there. It's incredible. It's awesome. I wish they would come out with a game like that flows like that with today's graphics. It would be absolutely amazing. And number 3. A lot of you may have not played this game or even aware of this, but Star Wars Republic Commando. I put this at number 3 because to me, this is probably one of the best FPS shooters for Star Wars that I've ever played. Not the best, but one of the best. For those who don't know what Star Wars Republic Commando is, Star Wars Republic Commando is essentially, I feel like, Star Wars' version of a Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Vegas style game. You don't die quite as easily like you do in a Tom Clancy game, but you're still a commander of an elite squad of Republic Commandos, which are basically the Black Ops troops for the Republic Army. Similar to the Bad Batch, or the one commander from Star Wars Rebels that appears in there, and Star Wars Clone Wars. I can't remember what his name is right now, and it's driving me insane. Most of you know who the Republic Commandos are and what they're capable of, but this game is all about a squad of those guys that is named Delta Squad. You have 3-8, who is the commander that you play as. You have 6-2, who is Scorch, 0-7, which is Sev, the sniper, and then 4-0 is Fixer, the hacker in the group. You get to play as the 4 of them, and you only go through, I believe it is 3 different planets, 3 different areas, but the missions are, there's at least within those planets, I believe there's like 6 to 7 missions, and they're all pretty lengthy. And you have to be tactical because you're not a Jedi and you can't just fly around and do certain things. Really, it's got a little bit of esque of Halo in it too, having the shields. But anyways, I'm rambling. So I put this game up there because of the story, the gameplay, the mechanics. It was top tier. And to me, it's still top tier. They really haven't made a Star Wars game similar to this for me to be able to top that with. So at number 3, we have Republic Commando. At number 2, the OG Star Wars Battlefront 2. The campaign in that game was great. The Rise of the Empire, I believe is what it was called. Playing as the 5 members of the 501st, going through their entire story from start to finish. Awesome. That was the first, and it was, we all complained we wanted to be able to play as the Jedi, because I don't believe you could do it in the first Battlefront. The OG original Battlefront, you couldn't do it. They brought it into this game, and it did not disappoint. I mean, it's clunky compared to stuff nowadays, but it did not disappoint at its time. It's awesome. It's amazing. I remember playing it. It came out when I was like 8 years old, so of course I was fascinated. I had it on both PlayStation 2 and Xbox, so I could play it on either console. The only thing I'll say maybe a little bit that I didn't like was the campaign was a little short in this game. Kind of like the Battlefront 2 from 2017. Campaign was a little short. This game's campaign was a little bit short, but there's so much to do outside of the campaign with Galactic Conquest, just setting up private matches. I believe you could play this one online too. I don't know if you could play the original Battlefront online, but I know you could play this one online. But without further ado, let's move on to number 1. Number 1 Star Wars game of all time for me is the original KOTOR. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the original. Not only does it have my favorite Star Wars character of all time in Revan, but this to me is the best storytelling of Star Wars I think I've ever seen, period. What I wanted to see, what the original trilogy set up for me, and then even what the prequels alluded to a little bit. I am a massive fan of the Jedi and the Sith of Star Wars. That is what I gravitate towards. I know a lot of people do too, but that is really what I gravitate towards. I enjoy the bounty hunters, the underworld, and the other factions of Star Wars that are not religious, but the Jedi and the Sith are where I get the most enjoyment out of. And this game was solely focused on them. It was an entire Sith empire versus the Republic. It wasn't a rebellion versus a small or versus a gigantic empire, and it wasn't an army of clone troopers versus droids with a bunch of Jedi and no Sith fighting them for the most part. This was all Jedi. This was the Sith Empire. That's why I love the Republic, the old Republic era so much. This was the Sith going head to head with the Jedi, with Republic soldiers and Sith soldiers, and it was just great from start to finish. From not knowing you're Revan to finding out that your main character is Revan, that you're playing as Revan, to getting a choice at the end of the game if you're going to be dark or good. It just, man, this game just, it hit on all cylinders for me. And I've replayed this game so many times, which is why I cannot wait for the remake that's coming out. Running back over the list for you guys one more time. At number 10, Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2017. At number 9, Force Unleashed, the original. At number 8, KOTOR 2. At number 7, Jedi Fallen Order. At number 6, Dark Forces. At number 5, Jedi Outcast. At number 4, Jedi Academy. At number 3, Republic Commando. At number 2, Battlefront 2, the OG. At number 1, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the original. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what your list is down below in the comment section. Like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and enjoying the content that you see before your eyes. All right, guys. I'll be back with another video here soon. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves.